I've been at this YouTube gig for a pretty long time, And when I first started out, I used no light, but, well, that thing up there, the sun. After a few years, I decided to kind of take the show inside, but it's really difficult to get natural light from the sun indoors. So I had to start using some other lights, and I started out with these. These are just Home Depot lights that you can get pretty cheap. Some cellophane over top to soften them up. They worked okay. They're not bright or easily configurable, but they worked. These were the next evolution of lighting. Pretty simple LEDs. They got a lot brighter than the Home Depot lights, but they weren't always as configurable as you would like. But they are very durable, and I still use these to film stuff in my garage. This is a mess. And you're probably saying, you know, Mike, I got lights like this around the house that I can just use, and these are really great for ambient light. But as you can see, I'm not properly lit. I should have a light in front of me. Yeah, I see you. I really need to have a light source in front of me. Something like this is not going to be bright enough to give me what I need. Now in my studio, I'm master of my own domain, which is nice. Now this lighting is created by 3 different lights. Let me show you what those are. These are listed as the newer 3-pack LED softbox lighting kit. I'll put a link to Amazon in the description, but they run around $217 for the set of 3 with the remote control and the stands. So that is how we get this. Oh, wait. There we go. Here we go. So what do all these lights that I've shown you have in common? Well, they're all considered hobbyist lighting. In other words, they aren't professional lights.
That makes sense because you are a professional.
Professional what?
A professional filmmaker.
Well, there is truth to that. I am definitely not a professional filmmaker, but I am a professional YouTuber.
Sure.
The definition of a professional is someone who makes a living doing something.
You call this a living?
Good point. I've always wondered what is really different between professional lights and the ones I've been using. Well, besides the price. But now I don't have to wonder anymore because Newer sent me a professional light to test out for myself. Let's take a look at this thing. One thing's for sure, professional lights come in less fancy boxes. It looks like this has some stuff that can connect to your cell phone. Pretty cool. Very small text. Gonna need a telescope to read that. Looks like a little flare, power cable. Very nice. We got our plug right here, on-off switch right here. Dial. Nice carrying handle. Tripod mount. There we go. Very nice. This thing is very sturdy, very heavy compared to lights I'm used to. And I think we're all set. But they did send me one more thing. And I believe this right here is a diffuser. The diffuser will connect to these Velcro pieces in here. Let me show you how this sets up. So this did not come with a light stand, so I'm going to use one that I already have. Hopefully this is sturdy enough to hold it, we shall see. So this is the diffuser that it comes with. The light is actually not on, but when I point it towards the camera, it certainly looks like the light is on. Let's go ahead and plug this in, and you can see that's putting out a green light. So this will adjust the brightness, and this adjusts the hue of the light. Turn it down a little bit so you can see. So we're definitely getting a spotlight on the back there. Really looks super bright on camera, and we can adjust the color from green to blue to white. And all the yellows and greens and blues that are in between. So now we're getting the fuchsia color. We're getting red. You can pretty much adjust this to any color that you want. So this thing can already do so much more than all the things that I can do on all my other lights. Now how much that's actually going to be useful is really hard to say. It has an app as well, but before we test out the app, I want to take a look at the softbox that they sent me as well. So let's turn this off, put the softbox on, check it out. Now these come off by pressing this little button backwards and then rotating it off. It has the same really sturdy metal. And I'm just gonna turn this way a little bit. Yeah. You just put that in there. And turn it. And there we go. And these just open up and snap into place. There we go. Wow. This is not a small light either. This is a very big light. Now we have our diffuser, and there are 2 diffusers in here. You can obviously see this is really easy to put together. And then we can put the larger diffuser on. And there we go. Huh. That's very, very nice. Very soft glow, not overpowering. Now I'll bring it over here a little bit, see how much softer it is. It's not creating that really tight circle on the back wall anymore. It's very, very loose and just free. And it just adds a red glow because we have it set to red. This is seriously a huge difference between these lights and this light. It's the amount of configurability that you can use with it. Now with the softbox, we want to turn this up quite a bit. And look at that. Wow. And that's on very low. That's just on 31 as the brightness. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the app looks like for this light. They make this really easy for you. In the instructions, you're just going to want to go ahead and find the proper QR code for your device, iOS or Android, and then scan it. And it brings you right into the App Store or the Play Store, and you just click Get. You may have to double click or whatever your App Store does to verify that you want the app. And then once it's done, you can just open it up, and it quickly takes you through a couple of pages that tell you a little bit about the app, and then you have to accept the terms of service. It will bring up this login screen. I just used guest mode. And then all we have to do is go ahead and add our light. All right, so we have our app up here. We're going to turn this on. And we're going to add a device. And it comes right up. So we're just going to select it and click OK. And it's adding the device. That was easy. So we can actually physically turn it on and off from here, which is awesome. Let's face it a little towards the wall here, and then we can go up here and select the HSI, and we can just select the color that we want. So we can go with white, we can go with a more yellow, and we can adjust the brightness right here. You can also adjust color saturation and all kinds of other cool stuff. But what's really cool is this little button called Scene. So this one is lightning. And it will just perform a lightning strike off camera. And so if you are shining this in through a window, or if I was to put it over out of camera frame, it would look like we've got lightning going on. We can do camera flashes, paparazzi, then we've got explosion, welding, cop car. So if you want to make it look like there's a police car off camera, something like that, you can do that. It'll do a hue loop, which will just go through all the colors. There is a lot of very, very cool things about this light. And there are a couple of significant differences that make this light a professional light over some of these other ones. Let me explain. So what is the real difference between basically the amateur lights that I've been using forever and this CB60 newer light? Well, in a nutshell, this is a completely different beast than any of the amateur lights that I've been using. The first thing is that this thing is a tank. It's really durable and it's really, really well made. And you can tell that it's meant to give you good results all the time, regardless of whether you're filming somewhere really hot or really cold. It's really sturdy. And I'm telling you right now, that softbox is absolutely incredible. Maybe one of the nicest pieces of equipment that I own at this point. You can just tell that this stuff is made to be professional, to use it in and out every single day without not having to worry about it not functioning properly. Whereas a lot of the amateur lights that I have, well, they're perfectly fine in the studio as long as they're not meant to move anywhere. They're probably gonna last a really long time. But if you were seriously working as a professional and taking these things in and out of locations and everything else, well, I can definitely see why someone would pick something like this. Now, the other thing is, a lot of these lights that I have the ability to change out even the softboxes to adjust their color and things like that. And of course, they have temperature where you can make it a little more yellow or a little more white. There isn't really the ability to dial it in perfectly, and every different sort of lens that you're going to use is going to give you different results because of the way that it's set up. Whereas something like this is going to give you consistent results across the entire spectrum of color. And that's really the difference between a professional light setup and an amateur light setup. It's meant to give you exactly what you want every single time, because let's face it, if you're a professional, you're getting paid to do the job. You don't want to spend hours dicking around with lighting and everything else. You want to set it up, you want to dial it in and get exactly what you want. And really, at the end of the day, that is the major difference. This light is not meant for somebody who works in a studio, can spend 20 hours setting up their lights, getting them exactly like they want, and never move them. This light is meant to be able to take it anywhere and get the exact results you want every single time just by dialing it up. And that is really awesome. Now, is this something that everyone needs? Probably not. It's definitely not the cheapest light out there. And I think for most people's home studios, these newer lights that I have will probably do the trick. Or maybe even some of the older ones that I showed you at the beginning of the video. The reason why I showed you my progression of lights is, if I'm being honest, if you gave me that light on day one of the start of my YouTube career, I wouldn't have had any idea how to even use it or what to do with it. Which is why it was good that I started with can lights that you buy at Home Depot, and moved up to other lights that allowed me to adjust the temperature and the brightness. Then I moved up to other lights that allowed me to have even more control over the temperature and the brightness, and even a little bit of color, before moving on to something that allows me to adjust the temperature, the brightness, and an infinite amount of color. I would have had absolutely no idea what I could even do with those things or how light works with your camera, which is really the first thing that you have to learn. And it doesn't matter whether you're just live streaming or you're filming video content as well. Learning how the light interacts with your camera is going to allow you to set up backdrops like this anywhere you go. So I guess the question of the video is, are professional lights even worth it? Are they necessary? And I can promise you this, if you're a person who's making money shooting weddings or even films or commercials or something like that, having a professional light like this is going to save you an absolutely huge amount of time. Now, given the fact that this is the only professional light that I've ever worked with, I don't have the ability to compare it with others and tell you whether it's better or worse. But I can tell you right now that this light would do everything that I could possibly want it to do. It's extremely durable and sturdy, and that softbox is absolutely amazing. However, if you're a YouTuber and you're watching this and maybe you don't make any money, and you start anywhere on my tier of lights, well, there's nothing wrong with that either. You're going to get the kind of results that you like, and when you learn more about how light interacts with your camera and think about new or interesting looks that you want to create with your channel, then you can move up to other lights. Because usually by then, when you really start taking it seriously, the channel's making a little bit of money already. I'm telling you, these softbox lights, I actually own 2 sets of them for like $217 with the stands and the remote. Man, it's hard to say no to that. And while this light is decidedly more expensive than that, from a professional lighting perspective, it's pretty inexpensive. This light here is $187 without the softbox. Now the softbox diffuser is $63. If you compared those prices to other professional lights, well, those are $500, $800. I've seen them $1,000, and the softboxes can easily run hundreds of dollars. So all things considered, to have professional lights like this for around $250 is pretty awesome. Like I said, you have to get your own stands as well, but the point is, they're really, really inexpensive for professional lights, and they're really, really good. If you're looking for professional lighting, I highly recommend you check it out. If you're still growing with your light game for your live stream and your home studio, I would definitely recommend checking out the other lights that I showed in this video. You gotta start somewhere, and I showed you where I started and where I'm ending. If you want to check out another video where I show you all about the microphones that I use, you should check this video out. And if you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks to help make you a better live streamer or YouTuber, subscribe to the channel. My name is Michael Feyrer Jr. That is Carl the Cat. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.